Israel-Palestine propaganda wars, deciphering fact from fiction. The Israel-Palestine conflict, deeply rooted and complex, is further complicated by the pervasive influence of misinformation. This misinformation takes many forms, including media bias, manipulated video footage, false narratives, and the spread of debunked claims, all significantly impacting public perception and international opinion. Media bias is a critical aspect of this misinformation. Western media, in particular, has been criticized for presenting a one-sided view of the conflict, often publishing unsubstantiated claims and portraying Palestinians in a dehumanizing manner. Such bias undermines the credibility of mainstream news agencies and shapes global understanding of the conflict. A study examining media exposure among Jewish and Arab American adolescents found that exposure to violence perpetrated by one side in the media could predict ethnic stereotyping, highlighting the profound impact of media narratives. Manipulated video footage is another tool frequently used to mislead the public. Social media platforms have become breeding grounds for the circulation of misleading videos, with old footage often misrepresented as current events. For example, videos from past conflicts have been falsely presented as images from Hamas's attacks on Israel. Additionally, videos have been miscaptioned to inaccurately depict events, such as the evacuation of air bases following attacks. The conflict has also been marked by its share of false narratives and debunked claims. A notable example is the spread of false claims about the kidnapping of a top Israeli commander and the circulation of a video imitating a BBC News report. In some instances, footage from video games has been misrepresented as real-life war footage, blurring the lines between fiction and reality. A significant case study in the misuse of information is the explosion at the Al-Ali Arab Hospital. In this incident, Hamas quickly blamed the Israelis, while Israel accused Hamas. Israel released a video claiming to show the explosion was caused by a malfunctioning Palestinian rocket, but this video was later discredited by the New York Times. The United Nations called for an independent international investigation, but efforts were hampered by the heavy bombardment and fuel shortages amid Israel's total siege of the enclave. The role of the United Nations in the conflict has also been contentious, with accusations of bias from both sides. Some argue that the UN Human Rights Council and the General Assembly disproportionately focus on Israel-Palestine. In contrast, others believe that the Security Council and the Quartet on the Middle East, comprising the UN, European Union, United States, and Russia, are overly sympathetic to Israel, neglecting Palestinian issues. The proliferation of misinformation has been exacerbated by social media platforms, which have often receded from actively policing falsehoods, disinformation, and hate speech. This has led to an overwhelming flood of questionable information, much of it unverified or intentionally misleading. In the context of the Israel-Palestine conflict, not only a battleground of physical confrontations, but also a war of information and misinformation, we are compelled to ask incredibly important questions. How does the manipulation of information shape our understanding of justice and injustice in such conflicts? Can truth ever be entirely told in a world polluted with propaganda? What is the moral responsibility of individuals, organizations, societies, and governments in critically assessing and responding to the narratives presented? As both sides use misinformation to their advantage, diligently verifying information and understanding the context before forming opinions becomes paramount. The complexity of the conflict, deepened by these layers of misinformation and disinformation, makes the pursuit of truth an absolute necessity.